I wanted to post a quick reaction to the Jordan Peterson meltdown on the Jubilee Jordan Peterson versus 20 Atheists video. For those of you who have not seen this, it's absolutely fascinating, and it was, in my opinion, a very bad look for Jordan Peterson. I always found the sprinting in these debate videos to be a curious mix of athleticism and intellect. What an odd choice.
Can you be very clear about your definition of worship again?
Attend to, prioritize, and sacrifice for.
Okay, that's it. That's your understanding of worship.
Well, I could flesh it out, but that'll do for the time we have.
Okay. Do Catholics attend to Mary?
Danny's trying to set him up with the Immaculate Conception and the Assumption into Heaven claims. Let's see if he bites.
Oh, yes.
Okay. So do they fit that description of worship?
Yes.
So you would say Catholics and other people that revere Mary, like the Eastern Orthodox tradition, worship Mary.
Quite frankly, I think this is one of the areas where Jordan Peterson looks the worst. Rather than answer the questions, what he does is he gets drawn, or he tries to draw Danny into a basic semiotic argument, an argument over the distinction and the definition of these words. I find it to be ridiculous and a bad look for Jordan Peterson.
No.
You just said it. Now you're taking it back.
There's
now?
still a hierarchy.
Okay, there's a hierarchy, but within the
There's something at the top.
All right, you can worship things
Mary is
below.
quite a ways up the hierarchy, but not at the top.
Let's go over your definition of worship again.
Overall, did I? I didn't add that to my definition.
You understand.
I said there was a hierarchy as well.
You attend the
So you can attend to something trivially, or you can attend to it deeply.
Okay, now you're adding stuff to the definition, but your original
I
definition.
added the hierarchy part at the beginning.
Are you
just
familiar?
didn't understand it.
Are you familiar with the Immaculate Conception?
Why is that relevant?
Because you go to a Catholic church, don't you? Or you've attended recently. You're interested in Catholicism, aren't you?
Sure.
All right. Are you familiar with their doctrines?
Somewhat.
Okay, you're familiar.
Doctrines are very
how do they
deep.
regard Mary?
Why are you asking me that?
Because you're a Christian.
Honestly, this is where I think Jordan Peterson is showing a tremendous amount of cowardice, which is, I think, uncharacteristic for him. Why doesn't he come clean with what his agenda is? He wants not to be boxed in here. I find it disingenuous. Later in the video, I'm going to talk a little bit about what I think his answer should be and how you should have addressed this specific set of questions very directly.
You say that. I haven't claimed that.
Oh, what is this? Is this Christians versus atheists?
I don't know.
You don't know where you are.
So this is where the debate really slips away from Jordan Peterson, and I think that if he were to just simply answer these questions in a very direct way, I think that clearly he could stand on his own. But this is where this kid Danny gets the better of him, and the entire logic of this of Peterson's argument begins to unravel at this point.
Right now.
Don't be a smartass.
Well,
and I mean
either you're a Christian or you're not.
to you if you're a smartass.
Either you're a Christian or you're not. Which one is it?
This is an extremely frustrating line of reasoning by Jordan Peterson. Quite frankly, intellectually, it's below him. He possesses the capacity to answer the question. The prevarication makes him look bad. He needs to answer the questions directly. Again, later in the video, I talk about how I think that he should have answered the question, but let's take a look at what happens here.
I could be either of them, but I don't have to tell you.
Oh, it's just so weak. Just answer the question. What is this? Kindergarten?
You don't have to tell me. I was under the impression I was invited to talk to a Christian. Am I not talking to a Christian?
No, you were invited to.
I think everyone should look at the title of the YouTube channel. You're probably in the wrong YouTube video.
And here is precisely where Peterson knows it's a wrap that Danny has bested him. This is brutal.
You're really quite something, you are.
Aren't I? But you're really quite nothing, right? You're not a Christian.
Okay, I'm done with him.
Got cooked. I've linked to the original video below. If you have not seen it, you absolutely have to check it out. And this is clip number 2.
I want to get to the core of what you're arguing here, and I'd love if we could.
The core of what I'm arguing is that atheists reject God, but they don't understand what they're rejecting. So I'm trying to give you an example of what's being rejected and its complexity.
You've been asked, do you believe in God? The question becomes, what do we mean by God? And in the Bible, it's not even clear the biblical authors know what God is because...
Peterson's mistake was debating God's existence on the atheist terms, scientific positivism, which demands empirical proof. God, residing in the noumena beyond human perception, is inherently unprovable, making the debate unwinnable from the start. In Immanuel Kant's critique of pure reason, Kant distinguishes between the noumenal, things in themselves like God, beyond human perception, and the phenomenal, the world that we experience. He argues that we can't know the noumenal through reason or through evidence. God's existence is specifically and necessarily designed to be unprovable through logic or reason. German continental philosophy, especially through thinkers like Kant, Hegel, and Heidegger, suggests that grasping the true nature of human existence requires embracing its terror and its illogic. We must confront the chaotic, unknowable depths of reality beyond rational structures to fully understand our place in it. Now, let's look at a dead simple explanation of why God's existence is unprovable, and then unpack that into something more complex. Now, as ridiculous as this thought experiment might sound at the beginning, go with me here. Let's imagine a moment at the Cedar Point amusement park in Sandusky, Ohio. They have this roller coaster there. It's called the Dragster. In person, this thing is absolutely horrifying. Let's take a quick look. Then another view of it.
Top thrill dragster at Ohio Cedar Point Amusement Park. At a height of 420 feet and a top speed of 120 miles per hour, it was once the tallest and fastest.
Human existence, shaped by a loving creator, hinges on God's unprovability. If God's existence were proven, life stakes, our struggles, choices, and risks would vanish. Like knowing you'd wake up in paradise after a roller coaster crash, making every hardship meaningless as we would just reboot to eternal bliss. If we knew with certainty, should something go terribly wrong on the dragster, that we would merely awake in paradise, all of life's travails would instantly be regarded as meaningless. Anytime we were faced with the horror, pain, misery, or violence of life, we would realize the profoundly illusory nature of our pain, and these experiences would become truly meaningless. We could simply choose to reboot, to end it all and opt out of our suffering with impunity. Peterson also missed the power of the Christ when he was repeatedly asked if he were a Christian, and he waffled. He showed weakness, and he missed his opportunity. The true power of Christianity, as Nikos Kazantzakis portrays in The Last Temptation of the Christ, lies in Jesus being both fully human and fully divine. Not a distant Superman figure, but a God who incarnated to endure every human terror, pain, and struggle. When we cry out in despair, we're reaching a God who's walked in our shoes, intimately knowing suffering, making our connection to the divine deeply personal and redemptive. It doesn't matter if the Christian myth is real. From a deeply spiritual Christian perspective, it doesn't matter if Christianity's myth is historically real, because God, as omniscient, omnipotent, and omnipresent, exists in the noumenal realm beyond our feeble human capacity to fully describe or comprehend the transcendent source of all life. The power lies in the story's ability to connect us to the unknowable majesty of God, not in proving its phenomenal truth. Jordan Peterson was doomed from the start in the one Christian versus 20 atheist debate, stepping into an unwinnable trap even by accepting the terms which are rooted in scientific positivism, which demands empirical proof for God and impossibility, since God exists in the noumenal realm beyond human perception, as Kant described. This misstep cost him the chance to share the true power of Christianity, not a Superman-like deity, but as Kazantzakis illuminates in The Last Temptation of Christ, a fully human Jesus who endured every terror and struggle we face, offering a God who walks in our shoes when we cry out in despair. Now, by debating God's existence in the phenomenal world, Peterson missed the opportunity to actually embrace his faith and highlight its profound strength, its ability to connect us to a transcendent, unknowable, divine through a story that doesn't need historical proof to transform lives, as our limited human understanding can only grasp the divine through faith's leap, not logic's lens. A provable God would strip life's stakes, rendering human struggle meaningless, like rebooting to paradise after the dragster crash. Peterson's loss was failing to proclaim this deeper truth, letting the debate's terms obscure Christianity's heart. This was a missed opportunity for Jordan Peterson.